The biggest Mini model in its lineup, the Countryman, isn't a typical crossover. While most cars in its class are positioned as handy daily drivers, the Countryman is much more than that. It's a stunning car to look at and step into, but how does it perform in the real world? For this review, taking it into the city and out of town to the countryside where feels it belongs. Between the highway and the back road, here's a look at the Mini Cooper S Countryman and whether it's worth the price tag it commands. The first thing that sets this car apart from almost any other crossover on the market is its styling. The 2022 revision introduces a lot of new changes and basically makes its predecessor look old in a day. Paired with this island blue color, the car makes a floor when shipped. Not only is it stunning, but it's still very clearly Mini in its design. This iteration is the most modern Mini to date. There's hardly any chrome here with the painted surface instead of the shiny old parts we're used to in previous iterations. Really like the DRL that outlines the projector's LED headlights. During testing, was amazed by the output of the fog lamps that illuminate even the darkest streets on the metro or beyond. The taillights can also be very bright, and this is perhaps the most striking element on the back thanks to the Union Jack pattern that is molded into the housing and shines thanks to a selection of LEDs. For footwork, the wheels on this bolder Mini are on the larger side with 18-inch alloy wheels wrapped in road tires. While these rims look great and even feature a two-tone design, we'll find out why these aren't the best sizes later in the review. On top of that, it comes with an ample ground clearance of 165mm, which is more than the average sedan, but not as high as most other crossovers of the same size. That being said, the Countryman delivers an impressive kit in a very attractive package that has a bit of adventure written all over it. It looks more like a luxury road traveling fighter more than anything else, but it still retains the quirky city vibe that all other Cooper models have. Frankly, the update still retains the Mini's preferred look, and found it hard to complain about the design from an aesthetic point of view. If there is one thing that will be discussed, it is regarding the side mirrors mounted on the wings. Although it looks fantastic, it is relatively difficult to use because the surface area of the rearview mirror is quite small compared to most cars. However, it gets the job done. The Mini isn't known for its boring interior, and that's true here. Every time you step into the Mini cockpit, try to count the number of square corners while looking at the dashboard. It's possible to find a few, but almost everything on the dashboard is rounded and in a very pleasing to the eye. New for 2022 is the gauge cluster, and even the corners are shaved to better match the rounded shape that most interiors have. Ambient lighting is also another premium feature for the Countryman, and the Mini has worked well to create a pleasant atmosphere for both driver and passengers. The center stack lights up around the infotainment screen depending on what driving mode you're using. In addition, there is also a tachometer-based lighting mode that illuminates the ring depending on the engine speed. While this is more of a gimmick than a functional feature, it's definitely fun to look at. Of course, being able to change the color of the ambient lighting system would explain why it's still a pleasure to find Countryman interiors. As can be expected from a well-built car, every point of contact on the Mini is performed correctly without the creaks and other imperfections that arise during a cabin inspection. The seats are sturdy but supportive, which makes them prime real estate for the posterior on long trips or for quick and short bursts in the city. Visibility is also very good from here, but not given a super commanding presence on the road. Sits a lot lower than most other crossovers on the market, so that's one thing to consider. Also, on a more practical note, gets 450 liters of space at the rear with all 5 seats on top, but can increase that number to 1,390 liters if choosing only 2 passengers in the car. Sitting in the Countryman is easy, and so is the preferred driving position. Entry is fairly easy thanks to the model having 5 doors, unlike the Cooper's 3-door hatch. There is no need to fold the seat for the passenger to enter like some other Mini models, as it is all just a matter of opening the door and getting in no matter whether the driver or the passenger. Sitting as a passenger, get enough space at the front and adequate space at the back. It's not the level of a Rolls-Royce room, but it's enough for reclining in a chair. The rear seat is also slightly upright with minimal recline, but just like the front, the rear roll is enough to support long journeys. NVH suppression is also great in Countryman. Even the tires are almost silent on the highway. Pair that with the sweet sound of the radio and have a truly capable crossover on the highway. It's a bit bittersweet considering the Countryman doesn't do very well on country roads where the pavement is uneven. The chassis picks up bumps a bit hard. Maybe the tires are too thin for Philippine roads, or maybe the chassis is so sharp that it can feel everything. Either way, it's a rather stiff ride over EDSA, but one that's very planted on smooth pavement. Mini has equipped its Countryman with a number of expected technologies. What's nice about the Countryman kit is that it's all one needs and there's nothing it doesn't do, at least with regards to it being a modern vehicle. All seats are engined for easy adjustment, a nice and bright digital instrument cluster and LED headlights on top that are adaptive and follow the driving line through corners. It also has a heated windshield jet washer, so every time you flick the lever back for a burst washer fluid, it gets warm to potentially melt the windshield. The climate control is also automatic and also gets a garden assistant system with garden distance control along with a reverse camera for better visibility. What's more impressive about this car is that it comes with a cruise control system that also has a braking function. It's not a fully adaptive feature, but it will be enough to prevent bumping into someone up front. Additionally, it gets Eco, Standard and Sport driving modes to choose from with a new toggle switch at the base of the center console. The driving experience is further enhanced by the head-up display that is clear and bright during the day, and unobtrusive at night.